my name is Topham, and this week on the Easily Excitable podcast, I'm going to talk about a book I recently read called The Colour of Magic by Terry Pratchett. So, Terry Pratchett started a series of books called the Discworld Series, is it? Series? Well, he titles them as the Discworld novels. And Colour of Magic's the first one in the series. Discworld is a world that is set on a disc that's on the back of 4 elephants, which is on the back of a giant turtle. There's magic present in the universe, and there's a lot of strange rules to it. It has its own oddities, and the first story follows a tourist, I guess, called Two Flower. His chest that supports him and follows him around, made of was it sapient pearwood? That like devotedly follows him no matter where he goes, even if they get separated. And then a wizard called Rincewind. There's also a guy called Hrun the Barbarian, and he has a sword, which name I can't remember at the moment. And the sword's a sentient sword as well, so it has its own personality. The stories and the characters get separated at will and reunite throughout the story. And it tells of the adventure of Two Flower and Rincewind, and Two Flower just wants to have a look around the continent or the area that they're in, and they end up going on this ridiculous journey. And it really is a solid introduction into the disc world as a whole and some of the peculiarities that are found on the world. Like the fact that there is a mountain in the centre where the gods reside, and they do actually reside there, and they interact with the world around them, as well as just try and influence it so that things go their way. And they always seem to be putting wagers on different outcomes, which is always interesting. And the characters themselves are interesting. That Two Flower doesn't know the value of the money that he's got, and he is giving out. And then Rincewind knows one spell because it leapt from a book into his mind, and he can't recite it. He's afraid of reciting it as well, and it's just hilarious that he's a magician but he knows no spells, because none of the other spells want to go into his head, which is awesome. It's just a very fun, well thought out quirk to his character. And yeah, there's the book split up into 3 or 4 sections. I can't remember how many. And they start with doing the tourist stuff, and then they end up going to forest and coming face to face with, I can't remember even what it is, demon or a devil in a dark labyrinth that's underground. They escape from there, get kidnapped by dryads, I want to say. And then they end up at the Wyrmberg facing dragons. And then from there they end up at the edge of the world, and things just seem to escalate for them throughout the story, which is insane. It's just, how do they go? How did he write it? That it just seems to escalate to not where you'd expect. Okay, yeah, he's a writer, and that's what you'd expect from someone who's writing as much as he does, or as much as he did. And it kind of just put me into the mood of I kind of want to read more. It's very funny. The way he writes just has a, I don't know, some humour to it, and the way things are described just can just make me giggle easily. All in all, like, I think it's a great start to the series. I've read Mort before, which is the fourth book in the series, and then I think I tried to read Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, but I don't know how far I got through it. I'll find out when I try to read it again. I'm just about to move on to the second book, which is The Light Fantastic, and all in all, I really enjoy the works of Terry Pratchett, and I'm going to try and read more and more. Terry Pratchett, British author, and he passed away a few years ago, and he famously stated that he didn't want anyone finishing on his work when he was incapable of carrying it on or he passed away. So he had a steamroller drive over and completely annihilate the hard drives of any of the work that he was like working on. So that is, and that was awesome to see in the news. I think it was towards the end of last year. It might have been the year before. Can't really remember. But yeah, all in all, like the Discworld novels, I highly recommend checking out. They're a good read, good fun, and yeah, the first one was great. There's so many quirks to it. I'm never gonna go through like the whole story. I might read it again, read the first book again, The Colour of Magic. But yeah, it's well written. I'm really looking forward to reading more. But yeah, there's some thoughts on Colour of Magic and the Discworld novels by Terry Pratchett. Thanks for listening. Have an exciting week. Goodbye.